On the other side of this freeway overpass is downtown San Jose, and that's where I'm going to begin my hike today, Sunday, February 13th. And over there is the Children's Discovery Museum, Ernst & Young, and a Hilton Hotel. And I guess this is just a business building of some sort. I had to park several blocks away. I can see my car from here, but I don't know if that will show up in the screen. Probably not. The closest thing San Jose has to mass transit is the light rail, as they call it. And this is the first time I knew that Wi-Fi is available on it. And that was true in England on many of the mass transit conveyances, but I haven't seen it here in this country before, but it probably has been here, and I don't use mass transit. That's a nice little park where there have been fireworks on the 4th of July in past years. And the purple building is the main building of the Children's Discovery Museum. What I actually was looking at when I mentioned that before is the station, the light rail station for the museum. This is a hike that I've been wanting to take for years. When my kids were still living at home, we would walk down here occasionally, and there were a couple blocks worth of this, not worth, but part of this trail available, and it looked like a beautiful trail, but it didn't go anywhere. And now I hear it goes several miles out. So I'm going to see how far I can get today. I kind of prefer this kind of setting, similar to the canal in London, something that's a world apart and yet in the middle of a huge urban center, as this is. And reading the name on the railing there backwards, it's Guadalupe River. Not much of a river. In Pennsylvania we wouldn't even call it much of a creek, but during flooding times it does turn into quite a raging river sometimes. This is another hike that I would have to take on Sunday because parking would be just impossible. Even today I had to park 3 blocks out. I'm heading north here towards the airport from downtown.
Next week we're going, because she's be 85. So when she was 80, we went to this fancy restaurant. But that was with every...
A friend, Beth Essex, was mentioning after church this morning that many of the architectural effects along this parkway were done by a friend of hers, and she mentioned specifically the planting of many of the palm trees, so that's probably one of those, but I'm just guessing, of course. Already this is all new to me, because we used to walk the other direction for a block or two. That freeway above the walkway here is also new compared to the last time I was on this trail. We are here, and we're going that way. Apparently we're standing over an underground creek or river. Hope it's not sewage. Doesn't look like sewage. And I saw a bicyclist in that area a minute ago, so there must be some other way to get to it than what is available, than what is obvious here. But it looks, if you turn around, as though it's completely underground. And now we're a big flight of stairs up from where we were just a few minutes ago, and much closer to the freeway, but this is the same freeway I referred to a couple minutes back. Now the trail has dumped me out on a street, and in this map says we are here. Of course, it's so tagged by graffiti artists, so-called, that it's hardly readable. It appears that there are trails on both sides of the river. Looking at these two high-rise buildings, which were part of the first video I took today, but from a different angle, I can see that the second one now has the word Acer on it. And unless things have changed since I last looked up Acer, Acer is a Chinese or Far Eastern computer company. So for them to have a large building in San Jose is rather ironic. Well, now I'm back at the first map that I got video of, and looking at it again, it appears that I was turned around the previous time, and that actually this is north. The Children's Museum is behind us. Waz Way here is south of where we are, and Taylor and Heading are to our north, and also in that direction, the way we were going before I got to the other map. So we will see. Well, now I'm across that street, and I found the trail again. It took a little looking, not much, but actually there's two trails here, a lower one and a higher one, and it looks like they both go to the same places. So I think I'll take the lower. The lower one is definitely marked for bicycles, and I don't think the top one was. And the water is flowing north, which is a little bit confusing. But when I think about it, the bay is to the north of us, and the water is coming from the mountains from the south. And down there, a little piece is a large bird. It might be a pelican, not a Florida type pelican with the pouch below its beak, but I think that might be a California pelican. But what do I know? Are these geese or ducks? This one is definitely a duck. The one over there must be a goose. And they do, to confirm something I was saying last Sunday, they do resemble each other in marking. Well, the two trails have merged, And now I'm obviously high at the higher elevation. That big building is the HP Pavilion, where the San Jose Sharks play, and things like the circus appear occasionally. This classic building is San Jose Water Department, one of their buildings. Over there, luxury condos selling from the mid 400s, meaning 400,000. It's considered a bargain here, or at least it was before the crash. Maybe nobody's even looking for them anymore. This is the section we'll be taking today, and that appears to be several miles. And this is an aerial photograph of where we are, and a satellite view. And then apparently we are here. So maybe that bird is not a pelican. It's not identified, at least not in big type. And scanning, I don't see any mention of it on the... Oh, it's an egret. All I see is my reflection on the screen. There it is. And on the other side of the river now, the pavilion seems quite close. And there's a park over there too, which I didn't even know existed. Both sides are interesting, like they'd both be worth a hike sometime. For Kevin's birthday last month, I took him and Mike and Tracy and Bernadette to dinner at a famous barbecue restaurant, which is at the corner of the sidewalk at the end of us, that red building that's barely visible. I can smell the barbecue from here. And I just realized I can walk the other side of the river back to my car, so I can get both hikes in today, presumably. And the weather forecast is saying it's going to be rainy beginning tonight. So I'm glad to get this in for the week.